How you doing? I'm Mike Leister. I'm a CDL test examiner here at Lake-Sumter State College. Today I want to talk to y'all a little bit about the 2024 Modernized pre-trip inspection. Now some of you may be wondering, Modernized, what does that mean? Simply put, they just made some revisions in this past year to the existing pre-trip, and those are mainly just that they changed the amount of parts that you would need to talk about on the pre-trip inspection, which serves well for the students. It's a bit less to remember. They also changed the pad configuration. The maneuvers are essentially the same, but it's just configured a little different. But the main thing that I want to talk about, the changes that they did implement, is with a checklist. And this checklist is actually given to you not only to help with your studying and your practice, but it's also given to you in a blank form on your state test that you can use alongside while you're doing your test to kind of keep track of what you've said, what you haven't said. And it's a really valuable tool. So I strongly suggest that you utilize that in your pre-trip regimen because it can help you greatly. So today I'm actually going to be doing a full pre-trip on this Class A vehicle behind me. And what I'm going to be doing now is just going ahead and getting into that. So we'll use our 3 points of contact and climb up in the cab. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually focus on the in-cab inspection, namely the air brake check. This is probably the most important part as far as your state test is concerned, because this first portion, you cannot have any mistakes. So I want you to pay careful attention to what I'm doing and make sure that you're able to do it accurately. Okay, so for this process, the first thing that we're going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be turning my ignition to the on position. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and look at my dash and see that my ABS light on the dash, as well as in my mirror, I'll see that my ABS light on my trailer has come on. And if my truck were equipped with a DEF function light, I would go ahead and call that at this point as well. Now, before I start my vehicle, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that my brakes are locked and my truck is in neutral. And I'm going to fully start my truck. Now, what I'm doing at this point is I am building air pressure in both my primary and my secondary air tanks. And I'm shooting to build it up to the range between 120 and 140 PSI or until the governor kicks off. And I can go ahead and assist it a little bit if I need to try to get that pressure built. Okay, at this point, I heard that my governor has kicked off, and for this particular vehicle, it occurred at about 135 PSI, so you'd want to tell that to your examiner. Now, the second step that I'm going to be performing is going to be my air leakage rate test. So for this test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the ignition off, and I'm going to turn the key back on to the power or accessory position. I'm going to note that the gauges are sweeping, so I know I have power to it. And I'm going to go ahead and push in both my tractor and my trailer valves. This will charge the system and send air to both the tractor and the trailer so that I can do the next steps of my test. So while that's settling out, I want to make sure that I get some type of timing device. You could use a phone, a stopwatch, anything like that. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be applying steady pressure to the foot brake and holding it steady. And once my needles have stabilized or stopped moving, I will tell the examiner and I will start a 1 minute timer. In this 1 minute, I should not lose any more than 4 pounds of pressure in the system. So let me go ahead and show you how we do that. Steady pressure to the brake. I'm going to hold it still. And now I'm going to be watching my gauges. Now that my needles have both stabilized, I will now begin a 1 minute timer. And like I said, in this 1 minute, you should not lose any more than 4 PSI of pressure in the system. Okay, so at this point, I would show the examiner that my 1 minute time has elapsed, and I would verify that I lost about 3 pounds of pressure in this particular vehicle. So for the next test I'm going to perform, it's going to be my low warning alarm test. For this test, I'm going to be fanning my brakes continuously and allowing air pressure to drop and my alarms should activate somewhere at 55 PSI or above. So to do that, like I said, we're gonna fan the brakes. And now that my alarm is activated, I'm gonna tell my examiner that it occurred around 62 PSI in this vehicle and it's working properly. The last test I'm gonna perform is going to be my emergency brake test. For this test, I am going to once again fan the brakes until pressure drops all the way down to the range between 20 and 45 PSI. When it reaches that range, both my tractor and my trailer brake valves should pop out. So we're gonna go ahead, leak it down. Okay, both my tractor and my trailer valves have popped out around 30 PSI, so everything in the system is working correctly. Now at this point, once I've verified that everything is good with that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna restart my vehicle. And what I'm doing here is I'm allowing pressure to be built back up so that I can physically test the brake systems on the truck. But while I'm doing that and allowing that pressure to build, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk about all the other items inside the cab that I'm responsible for. So the first thing I'm gonna go to is going to be my door mirrors on both sides, and I also have the hood mirrors on both sides in the front. They are all clean and they are all properly adjusted to me. I'm gonna talk about my windshield. My windshield is clean, it's not cracked or broken, and it has no flaws to the glass or obstructions. I'm going to talk about my windshield wipers. I have both my windshield wipers, which are securely mounted. The metal portions are not cracked, bent, or broken, and the rubber blades are not cut, torn, or frayed. Then I'm going to activate the windshield wipers and show that they are working smoothly and that my sprayers are also working smoothly and have ample fluid. From there, I want to drop down. I want to come to this portion of my dash, which is going to be my lighting indicators. I'm going to go ahead and turn my headlight switch on. And I'm going to activate my left turn signal. I'm going to start there. I'm going to say that my left turn signal indicator is working properly. My right turn signal indicator is working properly. My four-way flasher indicators are working properly. And my high beam indicator is also working properly. Then I'm gonna work my way back out toward me. I'm gonna come to my city horn. My city horn is working properly, and my air horn is working properly as well. Now I'm gonna move to the right, and I'm gonna come to my heater and defroster settings. Now, if your vehicle is equipped, you can use the mix setting, which is what we use here. If you do not have this setting, you would have to actually do it independently for the heat and the defrost. I'm gonna turn it to the mixed setting. I'm gonna turn the blower all the way up, and I'm gonna verify that I have my defroster function working on the top of the dash, and I'm also gonna verify that my heat is working under the dash. Next thing I'm gonna check is going to be that I have spare fuses in my vehicle, as well as under the rear bunk, I have a fully charged and secured fire extinguisher, as well as 3 red reflective triangles. Now, at this point, I would recommend that you pull out your checklist and use that to kind of think back and make sure that you didn't miss any critical items inside the in-cab. I'm almost built with pressure up, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit. We're just building that pressure back up to where we have a full tank so that the brakes will fully release for the next check. Now, what we're gonna do now is we are physically gonna be checking the brake function of the truck and trailer. So to do this, we're gonna be looking at the valves. Now, a lot of people do tend to get confused, newer students, about the valves themselves. This is gonna be the trailer, and yellow is going to be your tractor. An easy way to remember it that I've kind of taught to my students, if you think of a traffic light, yellow always comes before red, just like the tractor will always come before the trailer. So it's a little easy way to kind of remember it if you get confused. But what we're going to be doing is testing these functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test my trailer brakes first. The way I do that is I'm going to leave the trailer brake out, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push my tractor brake in. This is going to allow the tractor to be able to move and keep the trailer brakes locked. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the truck in drive, and I'm going to do a very gentle tug just to make sure that the trailer brakes are holding, which they are. Now I'm going to go ahead and reverse that. I'm going to pull the tractor brake out, and I'm going to push the trailer brakes in. This is allowing the trailer to be able to roll and the tractor to stay locked. Now I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to put it in drive, and I'm going to do a very gentle tug, and I'm going to see that my tractor brakes are holding properly. Okay. Now, the very last thing we need to check is going to be our service brakes. For this, we are going to push both of our tractor and trailer valves in. This allows the entire vehicle to be able to move. We're going to pull forward at 5 miles an hour, and we're going to apply the brakes. And when we do, we want to loosely hold our steering wheel to see if the truck would not only pull left or right, but also that it stops appropriately. So we'll go ahead and put our truck in drive. We're going to loosely hold the steering wheel. We're going to pull forward 5 miles an hour. Loosely holding the steering wheel. And when I reach the 5 mile an hour mark, I'm going to just slowly apply the brakes. And I'm going to see that my truck did in fact stop smoothly, and that my truck did not pull to either the left or the right. So that would show that all of my brakes are working properly, and this would be the end of the in-cab inspection. So once we've finished the in-cab inspection, in order to prep for the next step, which is going to be the outside of the truck, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn that wheel all the way to the left, okay? And I'm going to shut the truck off. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn that key back to the on or accessory position. And you can tell that because it's powering up the gauges. And I'm going to be turning my headlight switch to the on position. Now at this point, I would ask the examiner to please step out to the front of my vehicle and assist me with the external light check. Okay, now that the examiner has stepped out to the front of the vehicle, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to activate all of the lights and have him verify that they are in fact working properly. So starting in the front, are the clearance lights on the front of my tractor working properly? Are the headlights on the front of my tractor working properly? Are the high beams on the front of my tractor working properly? Is my left turn signal working properly? Is my right turn signal working properly? And are my four-way flashers working properly? Thank you. Would you please step to the passenger side of my vehicle? Are the clearance lights on the top of my tractor and trailer working properly? Is the right turn signal on the tractor and trailer working properly? Are my four-way indicators on the tractor and the trailer working properly? Thank you. Would you please step to the driver's side of my vehicle? Are the clearance lights on the top of my tractor and trailer working properly? Is my left turn signal on the tractor and the trailer working properly? Are my four-way flashers on the tractor and the trailer working properly? Thank you. Would you please step to the rear of my trailer? Are the clearance lights on the rear of my trailer working properly? Are the tail lights on the rear of my trailer working properly? Do my brake lights come on? Do my brake lights go off? Is my left turn signal working properly? My right turn signal working properly? Are my four-way flashers working properly? Thank you, sir. Okay, so now that we've finished the external light check, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna step out of the vehicle using our 3 points of contact and start the outside. Okay, so I'm gonna be demonstrating the outside of this pre-trip to you, And this process that we use is the way Lake-Sumter actually teaches it to our students. So hopefully you can find it beneficial, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on how we do it here. First thing we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna stand in front of that vehicle, okay? And I'm gonna note that that truck is sitting level, both front to back, side to side. So I know there's no issues as far as suspension or maybe a flat tire. Next thing I wanna do is I wanna look at all the lenses on the front of my vehicle. And I wanna see that none of them are cracked or broken. They're all clean and they are all the proper color, and that none are missing. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open up the hood. And I'm gonna come around to the driver's side of the vehicle. Okay, so coming under the hood, the first thing that I wanna look at is I wanna look at all the hoses and all my lines. I wanna make sure that they are all securely fastened. Nothing is cut, worn, or frayed, and I have no either liquid or air leaks of any kind. Then I want to move into my coolant reservoir, okay? And I want to note that the fluid level is between the minimum and maximum levels. Now I'm going to move to the right and come to my oil dipstick. Now for the oil dipstick, I need to pull that out. I need to wipe it clean and reinsert it, and when I pull it back out, I'm gonna verify that that level is between the minimum and maximum. From there, I'm gonna drop right down here to my power steering fluid reservoir. I just wanna verify that that in fact has the fluid level between the minimum and maximum. Now, following along with the power steering system, I'm gonna move right into my power steering hose, which is right here. My power steering hose is securely fastened at both ends. It is not cut, worn, or frayed, and it's not leaking. And I'm gonna follow that all the way down right into my power steering gearbox. Now my power steering gearbox is securely mounted to the frame, and it is not leaking in any way, okay? From there, I'm gonna move into my links, arms, and rods, which are connected to the gearbox. None of those parts are cracked, bent, or broken. My joints and sockets, which are here and here, are not loose or worn, and I am not missing any nuts, bolts, or cotter keys anywhere in my steering system. From there, I'm gonna drop straight back behind it, and I'm gonna come to my front and my rear spring mounts. My front and rear spring mounts are not cracked or broken. And I am not missing any hardware or any parts from them. Between my spring mounts, I have my leaf springs, which are right here. My leaf springs are not cracked, bent, or broken, and I also do not have any missing or shifted leaves. Now, as I follow the leaf springs down, I'm gonna run right into the shock absorber. My shock absorber is securely mounted. It is not cracked, bent, or broken, and it is not leaking. Now, as I'm looking down toward the rear or toward the lower part of the engine, I want to look at the ground and I want to see that I don't have any puddles, and I also have nothing leaking from under the engine or the transmission, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to work my way out toward the tire. I'm going to start by going to the brake hose. The brake hose is securely mounted at both ends. It is not cut, worn, or frayed. Okay, it is not leaking, and it is able to supply air to the braking system. From there, I want to drop down inside my wheel, and I have my brake drums and my linings, and I want to see that I have no oil, grease, or debris anywhere in that area. Next, I'm going to make my way out to the outer portions of the tire. So for the tire, I have an inner wall, an outer side wall, and a tread area on my tire. There is no cuts, bulges, bumps, anything like that on any of my three walls of the tire. The tire is a minimum depth of 4/32 of an inch on the tread, and I would check that using a tread depth gauge. Now, just a side note, you would also need to have 2/32 on all the other tires on the rest of the vehicle, and you would want to make sure that you never have any mismatched sizes of tires anywhere on the vehicle, okay? Now, I would also check the inflation to make sure the tire is fully inflated, and I would do that using a tire pressure gauge, okay? The way I would do that is through the valve stem. My valve stem, it's not cracked, bent, or broken, okay? I don't hear anything leaking from it, and the cap is present, and it's fully accessible. Now come to my rim, right here. My rim is not cracked, bent, or broken. I have no welding repairs anywhere on my rim, and I also have no elongated holes around my stud openings, which will be right around here, okay? Then I'm gonna come to my studs and lug nuts. My studs are not cracked, bent, or broken. They're all present. And my lug nuts are not cracked, bent, or broken. They are all tight, they are all present. And I have no shiny threads or rust trails to indicate any kind of looseness. From there, we're gonna move to the side of the vehicle. Now, first thing I'm gonna do, just like the front, I'm gonna see that all the lenses on the side of my tractor and my trailer are all clean. They are all the proper color. There is none broken and there is none missing. Next, I'm gonna go to my mirror brackets. I have my door mirror bracket as well as my hood mirror bracket. They are securely mounted. I'm not missing any hardware. And the arms themselves are not cracked, bent, or broken. Okay, I would also note that the mirrors on both are clean and they are not cracked or broken. Now, working my way down the truck, I'm gonna come to my DEF tank and my fuel tank. Both tanks are securely mounted to the frame. My caps, which will be here and here, are present and tight. And I would make sure that I have no leaks from either the tanks or the lines themselves. Now we're gonna work our way a little further back to the portion behind the tractor. And I'm gonna start up here. I'm gonna do the line section. So my air, which is here, here, and here, my air line and electric line connections are all seated, sealed, they are all locked in place. I have no leaks at the tractor airline connectors at the tractor portion, and I also have nothing leaking at the glad hand portion, and my glad hands are not cracked, bent, or broken. My air lines are not cut, worn, or frayed, and they are not leaking. My electric line is not cut, worn, or frayed and has no exposed wiring. And then I want to note that all of my lines and hoses are not pinched, crimped, or tangled, and they are not hanging down and contacting the frame area of the tractor. Then from there, we're going to move into the battery box lid and tray. They're securely mounted and they're not damaged in any way. Gonna remove that cover. Inside my battery box, I want to see that all of my batteries are securely mounted in the tray. All of my terminals or connections, whatever you want to call it, are tight with no excess corrosion. And all of my cables for the batteries are not cut, worn, or frayed, and there is no exposed wiring. We'll go ahead and replace that cover. Then what I want to do is I want to move outside and I'm going to talk about my tractor frame, which is right here, and cross members here, there, as well as my trailer frame, which is this outer portion, and cross members, which is up underneath. None of these components are cracked, bent, or broken. I'm not missing any cross members anywhere on the tractor or trailer. And I have no holes underneath the cab portion of my tractor or the cargo area or floor of the trailer unit. All right, so now we're gonna drop down and we're gonna talk about the coupling area. I have my apron, which sits under the bottom of the trailer. It is not cracked, bent, or broken. I would see that I have no gap between my apron and the skid plate, and that I have ample grease. My skid plate is not cracked, bent, or broken. It is securely mounted to the fifth wheel platform, and the platform is securely mounted to the truck frame. I have my release arm, which is in the proper locked position, which is in. And I have my fifth wheel locking pins, which are not cracked, bent, or broken, and they are in the proper locked position, which is outward. Going up inside the fifth wheel assembly, I have my kingpin, which is securely mounted. It is not cracked, bent, or broken. And I have my locking jaw, which is securely wrapped around the kingpin, and it is no excessive play. Now I'm going to move my way out, and I'm going to verify that the fifth wheel is adjusted properly to where the rear outermost part of my tractor will not come in contact with my landing gear during turns. Moving to my landing gear, I want to talk about my landing gear frame and my landing gear feet. They are not cracked, bent, or broken. I am not missing any parts or hardware anywhere on the frame or feet. The feet are fully raised in the upward position, and the crank handle is secured in the proper cradle position. As I work my way back to the vehicle, I'm going to look down the side of my trailer, and I'm going to see that I have my DOT tape, which runs solely or completely down the side of my trailer, and it is all properly affixed. Now I'm going to get to the tandem area on the trailer. I want to see that my tandem release arm, which is right here, is in the proper locked position, which is in, and my tandem release pins, which are there and back here, are in the proper locked outward position, securing the tandem in place. Now I will work my way further back. All right, so now I want to concentrate on the rear of my trailer. I'm going to look that all of my lenses on the rear of my trailer are clean. They are all the proper color. There is none broken or missing. And I want to see that my DOT or reflective tape runs completely across the rear of my trailer, and it is all properly affixed to the vehicle. Now that would be the last thing we need to talk about. Right now, I strongly suggest that you use this opportunity. Look back across the vehicle, use your checklist, see if you might have missed something. And if you do, go back and call it. The test is open. You're free to call out parts even in the very beginning, as long as that test time is running. So take advantage, use your checklist, and make sure that you get as thoroughly as you possibly can. And I promise you, if you do that, you'll be able to score well in that state exam. So if you like the information that you've seen in this video and you want more information about the CDL program we have at Lake-Sumter State College, you can find us at lssc.edu/CDL. And if for some reason you're at another program or you're just looking for some information, I hope this video was helpful on what you're needing for your CDL journey.